Good morning. It is July 1st, 2023, 11 a.m. Pretty much on the nose. This is what I call it today, Windows Solutions via Think Tank live stream. There's a picture-in-picture coming up here. And I'll check audio. The picture-in-picture coming. I've got audio. I do not have echoing. Pop out chat and say hello to some of the peoples. Where is it? Pop out chat. The Zoom session is open. I intend to get to the Zoom people pretty early. So run through these quickly. Oh, Dennis sent his viewers over. Thank you, Dennis. That means he just finished a stream on Fortnite. Scroll up here to the top and dismiss this top item. Speedy C. Some other people were in the chat room yesterday, and but their chat comments are gone. Let's see if I go change the live chat. Will I get anybody before that? I don't think so. Come up here. Nope. Species. So Brian Lightfoot says, I had to take my clock to the vet. It had ticks. And I want to discuss item number 6 for at least 2 hours. Politicians, used car salesmen, and YouTube administrators. Now, I don't quite get that. Item number 6 is... I got to scroll down here when I've got this all zoomed in. Item number 6 is my new discovery regarding licensed music in my trailers. But I don't understand the reference to politicians, used car salesmen, and YouTube administrators. Maybe they're saying they're all kind of, maybe they have something in common, twisting phrases and cheating on how we do things. Is that what you're saying? Chris got a chuckle out of the Jenny trailer. If you didn't see that trailer, I'm not sure when it's going to replay. It'll probably replay on Monday. Tim Sal says, hello. Tony Wallow with a $4.99. Not only that, $4.99, but Tony Wallow also sent a PayPal contribution. Thank you so much, Tony. I do appreciate that. And he says, good morning. Tony Wallow here says morning or afternoon or evening. And Chris Garrett, good morning, afternoon, evening. Hope your day is going good. William Dawson, D-Bad, otherwise known as I know who it is. It is. I know who it is. I know who it is. It is. Oh, I got it. I only realized who this is. It is Roy Carr. Yes, Roy Carr. Hello, Roy. D-Bad Roy says, I think Jenny is better looking than Doug. Well, here we can actually test that out. There's a spirit of Jenny still here, and maybe this will help you figure out who's the better looking right here, huh? What do you say? The spirit of Jenny lives inside. Here we go. Okay, Jenny, you're out of here. Goodbye. Rick Lake says, nice trailer. Bobby Warren, hello. Jeff Ryman, Rick Lakes, Ida Rivera. Tim Sal likes topics 3, 5, and 6. What are those? 3, is virtual memory helping or hindering Big Beast build? I am interested in discussing that with you guys. Hang on a moment. All right, checking to make sure that unmuted. What is that weird overlay down here in my picture-in-picture? I see 867. Where is that coming from? I don't know. 3, 5, and 6, I think you said. Disassemble dim _2.1 slot adapter for M.2 storage. We had conversations about that when I was trying to figure out, we were trying to figure out the problem with the AverMedia capture card, and I found the adapter in the motherboard box. So I have it here on the desk. We can disassemble it and see what that looks like. And then he also is interested in the licensed music. Ken Stout says 8675309 for the topics. Topics 87635. 0, shall we say that 0 is 10, 9. Yes, I get it, Ken. I get it. Brian Lightfoot, $5. Jennifer wanted me to forward this to you. Now, Brian has noticed that I'm spelling Jennifer with a G. I don't really like doing that. The only reason why I'm doing that is because the Jennifer you know on this channel comes from HeyGen. And HeyGen.com is spelled HEYGEN, as in AI generate or artificial generated, or I don't know. That's the only reason I spell with a G, but I like the J spelling better. And I'm still torn. Should I use a J or a G? You can put that in chat. Just type a G or a J if you care. Jenny's probably going to be around for a while. William Dawson, hello. Greg Guy says we can start the show since he's here now. Brian says hello to everybody. Jonathan says hello to a bunch of people. Tony Wallow. Again, people saying hellos to each other. Scrolling through this a little bit. Ran Israel, Jonathan. Wait a minute. What did he say there? Did Jonathan say something? He gave us a temperature reading. Oh, I can't tell. I'm not sure. I might have skipped through stuff. Jonathan is asking for topic number 5. Disassemble the DIM adapter. Speedy C. Ken says, Doug just spoke Tagalog. Ooh. Yeah. Ooh is okay, right? That's what it means, is okay. Are you guys seeing that weird overlay? I got to go find out. Let's see if I come over here to this tab and scroll up. Yeah. Oh, it's the phone number. It's showing up. I don't understand why that's showing up there. Why is that showing up there? Desktop, in picture. What happens if I go here and then go here? No, it still does that. All right, I'll fix it this way. There. All right, where am I at? Greetings, Jonathan, Mike, Speedy Seeds, topic 6. Over. Does this guy know what he's doing? He seems confused. Licensed music. Seems like I should be able to remember what the topic numbers are, right? Greg Guy, there's chit chat going on. Hey Paula, Jenny with a J. It's skipping around on me again. Maybe if I just use the scroll bar, is that going to work better? Ken, not not ooh, and it is yes or okay in Filipino speak. Tagalog, to be specific. Zoom in the background. Oh, was that Zoom in the background? Because somebody was showing that on Zoom. Oh, yes, it is. I see that. How is Zoom showing in the background on my picture-in-picture? Yeah, it is Zoom background because somebody in Zoom is showing that as their background. It's with a J. I will double check on the. Oh, I know the song is with a J. Absolutely, the song is with a J. It's Brian's background. Yeah, all right, got it. Ran, I stumbled upon another free storage space feature. If you're interested, I prefer topics 3 and 5. Ran Israel, is that the U2 that you're talking about? I have the link to that saved because I think I saw you. Was that you or somebody else? Another free storage space feature. Oh, no, it wasn't. That's something else. And the lyrics. Yeah, I know the lyrics are with the J. Okay, let's go bring chat room in. So I got to go fix some settings here. So get ready in, not chat room, Zoom. Get ready in Zoom to mute your YouTube audio. Here, I'll turn my video on for you in Zoom, and I'll turn my microphone on for you in Zoom. Now, your audio is still not coming over to me or to YouTube because I'm giving you a chance to fix your, to mute your YouTube. And here I'll change my speakers so that I can hear you. Should be this one. And then bring you up on screen. Hello, everybody. I should be able to hear you now.
Hello.
Good morning. Hey, Bud.
Hi there. Hi there, everybody. William Dawson's in my upper left part of the screen, and you've got data. Can't quite remember the name of the actor. I know I would recognize it in a multiple choice. Go ahead, spill the beans. Who is it?
Brian Summit. Forget the last name, but that's from Independence Day.
Well, yeah, that's from Independence Day. Not his time on Brett. Brett. His name is Brett. Brett Spiner.
Yeah.
I could never understand whether it was. I think it was pronounced Spiner, not Spinner. Yeah. And I knew that wasn't from Star Trek. Data's character from Star Trek. So, William, do you have any topics to bring to the show, or are you just here to participate in Zoom?
Just here to participate.
Marvelous. Thank you for doing that. Brian Lightfoot. Hello, sir. How are you today?
Good morning, sir. If you had a problem showing my Zoom, I can always change it.
No, there's no problem. That's not. Look at you.
How's that?
You clever sly dog. Hi, Brian. Call me.
Oh, but wait a minute. She's right here.
Yeah, well, you don't need to call her. She doesn't need to call you.
She left Fresno and came up here.
Well, that's how the way it should be, isn't it? Well done. Well done. And that said, I put up your text. Can you put your text up again? Hi, Brian. Call me. Yeah, she asking you to call her. That's been pretty rare that some guy has shown her to be requesting the call. Now,
I don't know how it happened.
Oh, right. Oh, and then you got a heart emoji that just showed up.
Ken Stout put me up to it.
Well done. Did he do that in DaVinci for you? No, I think you did that yourself.
That was done about 5 minutes before showtime.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not questioning that at all. I'm sure you did that short notice. And then Josh Kinder. Hello, Josh. How are you?
Hey, what's up?
Hey there. Oops, I forgot to ask Brian. Did you have any topics or requests of topics?
Well, 6. I want to hear about the shenanigans on YouTube. Yeah. I already know about them, but I want to hear about your discovery.
Yeah. I think you might find this informative, or that you didn't know this. Now, Josh and I have plans later today, an hour or two after finishing this stream. Let's see, I think I'm planning to keep this to 2 hours, this stream to 2 hours. And then Josh and I are going to get together over Fortnite, starting about an hour after that. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to be live streaming that. I'm thinking I might be live streaming it to an unlisted stream. And then if I choose to publish it later, I would do that. So if any of you are interested in participating in that, either as watching the unlisted live stream or participating in a Zoom session during that, while I'm working with Josh on both his OBS a production issue I want to fix with him and the actual Fortnite play. If you want to be in on that, then send me an email asking for the URL, and I'll send you the link. You can participate.
Yeah, I've been going back and forth between Fortnite and November before, but that's why the OBS got screwed up.
Okay. Well,
but I wasn't even aware that OBS was messed up until you sent me that email.
Yeah, I sent Josh an email. Actually, I sent him an email with a unlisted video yesterday showing him how to fix that. Did you get it fixed?
No.
Okay, then what I'm planning to do is for you to come into the Zoom session at 2 p.m. my time, 3, 4, 5 p.m. your time, and we'll start with fixing the OBS issue. I'll get connected remotely to your computer.
Okay.
All right.
I'll be back.
All right. So I'm going to come back to chat. Chris says you should have made the AI girl dance to that song. She was dancing. If you go back and watch close, well, the only way you're going to go back and watch closely is if you captured the URL. If you look in your YouTube history, you'll be able to get back to that video. And if you watch it closely, you'll see her bob her head a little bit on the beat. Once or twice during that whole song. It's a statistical probability that probably happened, right? It's also a statistical probability that nobody's going to actually go check that out. So I'm safe in saying that. That's something we do in YouTube, is say things without backing it up because people aren't going to go check. But actually, I think that's true about her bobbing her head on the beat once or twice. Completely coincidental. I don't have any control over her movements. So, yeah. She would be offended at you calling her an AI girl, though. She would take offense to that. Okay? AI is artificial intelligence. She is better than that, because AI, artificial intelligence, is half artificial and half intelligence. Well, she's 100% artificial.
That's what she said.
There's no intelligence. She's an avatar. So that's the A part. Brent Sparial at Da Vinci and Cyber Wars, topics 3, 5, and 6. I thought one of your traders mentioned she might be AI. It's possible I might have used that somewhere along the line in reference to her, but that would be incorrect because she doesn't do anything. She can only. Oh, you know what? I do think one of the traders, I think she denied being AI because she could only say what I told her to say. How's that for a relationship? All right, 3, 5, and 6. Let's get moving. I think I've heard more about 6, and that'll be fairly quick to do. Well, sort of. Let's come over here to content. And here's the recorded videos. So this trader that you saw today, Jenny's phone number is the name of the video. It's partially blocked. This video contains copyrighted materials. Showing here, I'm hearing a little bit of background noise from somebody in Zoom. You might mute yourself if you know it's you. This video contains copyrighted material it's been blocked in some countries. Then over in this column, it says it's ineligible to be monetized, so I can't monetize it. In this column, it says copyright. Now I'm going to keep my mouse above these columns. So these columns are titled Visibility, Monetization, Restrictions. The thing that I recently discovered that I suspected but hadn't seen yet is how to get the license information into the description. And somebody actually made a comment somewhere in, I think it was a chat comment that got wiped out because it was done the day before the show ran, asking why I didn't have license information in the description. Well, YouTube puts that there itself, but I hadn't figured out when it does that, and I prefer to let YouTube put the license information here. So that's what came up new. This is the first time I've actually noticed this entry here that says license added, and that was for the screensaver and art music. That was playing music that was offered by YouTube, licensed music that YouTube actually has in a list of music. Down here, this creator music, that's where I got that from. Now, if I click into that and look at the description here, you don't see any license information in the description that I created. But if we come over here into the actual video, I'm going to make sure that's muted. Yes. And then come down to the description and click on this show more. Here's all of my description area. Keep scrolling down. And then here's the license information that YouTube put in there to show where this music
Ah.
comes from. See there? Got you, Brian. You didn't know that, did you? Right? He's not responding to me.
No, I've seen that before, and I've wondered how it
Right.
got there.
How does it get there? And I've been looking for that. I've been wanting to see, can I voluntarily make that happen when I upload a video? And the answer is no. YouTube does it when they choose to do it. So if I come back here, that's on on this one. Now this one, this trailer has the Don't Worry, Be Happy music, and it's ineligible for me to monetize it, and it shows restriction is copyright, but it does not show the license added, and indeed no license was added. Over here on copyright, there's that blue See Details that I can click on. In the ineligible column, there isn't anything for me to click on to get more details. So if I come over here to copyright and click on See Details, shows the channel is not affected. Content ID claim on your video doesn't affect your channel. This is not a copyright strike. Now when I'm uploading copyrighted content, I'll upload as unlisted or as private, and YouTube will do its evaluation. So I can see the evaluation before I make it public and decide not to do that if I choose to. Visibility is unlisted. Anyone with the video link can see this video. So if I send this link, the URL, to anybody, they can watch it. Or if you acquired the link any other way, you could watch it by like going back in your history. Like I said, when the trailer plays before my scheduled showtime, you could later click back on your history, get that URL, you can capture it, and as long as I have still kept the video as unlisted, you would be able to play it again. It's ineligible for monetization, and I'll click here on Learn More and see what else it says about that. Learn about content ID claims. So there's all of this. I'm not going to read through all of this. I have gone through all of it. There's a lot of stuff in the write-up of the rules that are not what the bottom line. What can you really do? Like there's places where, not only here, but in other research, where it says you can't use licensed audio. You can't use copy protected audio, but then you can actually do it. YouTube just flags it as you can't monetize it. The money goes to the license holder if the license holder chooses that. But the other piece is that the license holder could issue a DMCA claim, whatever that's called, and they can do it selectively, meaning they might allow other channels to use their music and deny it to a particular channel if they find the way that, well, with no if, they can just do the DMCA takedown and it's a copyright strike against your channel, apparently immediately, not with, I haven't seen any indication of a warning, and that does harm your channel's reputation in YouTube. And if you get 3 of them, your whole channel will be taken down or can be taken down. That piece isn't clear to me. But what else this tells us in here, Don't Worry, Be Happy, Bobby McFerrin, content found. It tells us where it was found in the show. So that if you have a 2-hour-long stream like some people do, it'll tell you where the problem is, because a lot of times people can't figure out where was the problem, and this should take you straight to it. Video cannot be monetized. Ad revenue paid to copyright owner. So the copyright owner in this case is getting money off of this. So whoever holds that copyright, I think it tells us technically.
Bobby Farron.
Well, he's the artist. That doesn't necessarily mean he currently owns a copyright, because he can sell his rights to somebody else who will continue marketing. Let's see. I think somewhere, I think it was on a prior screen. We'll get back to that to see who the owner is. And then the copyright holder who's managing the copyright revenue may be sending a percentage to him.
Right.
If the tracks from creator music, are tracks from creator music missing? If tracks from creator music were not found, add them manually to complete the licensing process. So if YouTube failed to find other tracks that I had in here that were from their creator music, then I can manually get them added here. Now let's go back. If we go look at, let's see, this one.
Well, thinking about copyright claim, the Eagles were really bad with that.
There's a good point, is that some artists are really restrictive about what they will let go. Like if we call this letting it go, they're not giving me a copyright strike and a takedown notice and all that. And it makes sense because, hey, they're making money from an audience that would not have been listening to their music at that time. And maybe it will turn somebody back. Hey, I want to go listen to the song some more, the full song.
The Beatles knocked them up. The Beatles, at least with the Beatles, if you use one of their songs, they're a lot nicer about it. They'll just want you to split the revenue, split the money with them.
Now, in this case, then that's another thing, is sometimes the money will be split. Sometimes the artist will allow it to be split with the YouTube content creator, not in the case of this one that I just showed. And I'm suspecting that the older artists, the songs that are older that were created before YouTube was a thing, I'm suspecting they would be more amenable to having this extra source of revenue. I have heard specifically Taylor Swift and what's that girl's name? Another artist that I've known her name all morning long, and I'm forgetting. But anyway, Taylor Swift does it. I've heard does not allow this. Now, one of the ways to figure out are you going to get by with a particular piece of music is do a search on YouTube for that song. If it shows up on other channels, then that tells you, yeah, it looks like they are allowing it. If you're going to use it in some way that is really demeaning to the artist, I think that'd be a reason why the artist might refuse to let it stay up.
A lot of the channels now, they don't even use the regular music. They use the cover album, which is just like, it's just like the song, but it's not as good as the original song.
But that's still a copyright infringement, because if you're using somebody else's music that somebody else wrote, it's still a copyright infringement. In fact, there was a period of time not too long ago, I think it's been reversed. You know, when you go to a restaurant and the wait staff finds out that you have it's your birthday, they were not allowed to sing the traditional happy birthday song, right? Because that was copyright protected.
It hasn't been reversed. The copyright went away May 30th.
Oh, it expired. Okay.
And you know who owned it, don't you?
No.
Mr. Paul McCartney.
Oh, all right. And
literally, yes.
And hello, Gary. I was about to get to you. Welcome. Good to see you. How are you?
And very well. And actually, you're the first one that I've heard in a while that's done a copyright strikes. People don't understand them on YouTube. Two people. First of all, copyrights are administered by the publishers of the copyright, not the owner. I mean, I have copyrighted music that's actually on YouTube. Believe it or not, I was in a band a long, long time ago.
Okay.
But if you play it, you will get a copyright strike. YouTube will not pay it to me. They'll pay it to the publisher.
Absolutely.
And if I wrote the song, and there's actually a musical part that I wrote that's in an ad in Detroit right now, I'll get maybe $200 every quarter from it. And it's 40 years old.
All right. So,
yeah, people like the Eagles, everybody wants their money. That's all. And if you want to play Don't Worry, Get Happy, I just saw on your thing, play it. The money you would get will go to them. They don't care who. And if you look, I'll bet you $1, Don't Worry, Get Happy is already on there by Bobby McFerrin in his own channel.
Yes, it is. It is. And the channel that I took this from says is called what something tone corrected or it, is that the no? I'm sorry, it's not the Bobby McFerrin. It's the Jenny song was corrected. Let me go find that. Let me go because that was interesting. That was interesting.
But a lot of those channels are actually not making any money. They're just doing it as like I don't know what you would call it, but basically they like it, so they play it.
Right.
They don't get paid.
Right. They don't get paid.
So, I don't care who pays the song as long as I get my 2 cents, because you get a writer's credit and you get a performance credit. If you play it in your band live on your channel, you recorded "Don't Worry, Get Happy" yourself and played the song. Bobby will, if he wrote it, I don't even know who wrote it, will get the writer's credit, but not the performance credit.
Yeah,
and that's if you remember, you're my age or older. Dick Clark wrote a shootload of hit songs in the 50s and 60s. If you take a look at a lot of early Elvis songs, Dick Clark was a writer on a lot of them. That's how they got played.
Okay, so it's Jenny, Tommy Two-Tone, and I'm trying to find that thing about corrected. I'm really nervous right now about accidentally playing the song because I don't mind playing it on my trailers because my trailers can't be monetized, and that's fine because they're short. I don't care about them, but I want for my live streams to be monetized. So I very much don't want to play it by accident.
In fact, we were sued on one song that the band did by Carole King. And she gave me credit for drum tracks I added to the song, which means when any versions that have my drum tracks are played, I get literally 1/10 of 1 cent.
All right.
Anywhere in the world.
All right. Here's what I was looking for: is this Jenny pitch corrected? And when I read the comments under these on these the videos on these channels that did the pitch corrected, people were saying, "Thank you. It was driving me nuts trying to play this song because apparently there was something severely wrong with the pitch of the original." I'm not good enough of a musician to figure it out. Okay, I'm asking myself in my head, have I described everything that I wanted to say about copyright? Well, another thing, and Gary, you would be able to affirm this, is when does a copyright exist? The copyright exists when the creator creates it. You don't have to go file that anywhere.
Actually, you're correct. You don't. People think you can mail it to yourself. You can file a copyright with the government. Basically, if you can prove you wrote it, that's about all you have to do.
And that's the reason why back in history, it was said, mail it to yourself in a sealed envelope so that you got a postage date, and that's how you're going to prove it. If you wind up having to prove it later that that you had that content created before somebody else did. I
mean, there's one of the famous ones that everybody loves, Dueling Banjos from Deliverance.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks Eric Weisberg wrote it.
Yeah.
It was written 2 years before, and he lost about half of the money after. Matter of fact, he died in a friend of mine's nursing home. Good guy. But yeah, so the copyrights are not that hard, and usually you end up having a publisher who administers it. Paul McCartney right now MPL Productions is like the 4th biggest publisher in the world right now, and he's gotten back most of the Beatles. I don't know if he's gotten all yet, but he has like Buddy Holly, Crickets, a lot of the 60s. So like Happy Days, he was getting money from all the Happy Days reruns, big bucks. Then you get money from him. Bee Gees 2 years ago, Barry Gibb of the Bee Gees, he made a deal because he wants his in ads. I mean, that's big bucks.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, last one I'll say on copyright, Paul McCartney got a song, and I don't know who, it wasn't a Beatles song. It was one of his catalog on Admin or Mad Men, the show.
Yeah.
He got $800,000 for the first play. Now, of course, you wrote the song, okay? You got money. The guy who performed the song got money. everybody's happy. But they administer it, so they're the ones actually filing a strike. Now, people like the Eagles and Frank Zappa, their trusts go after because they want every penny in case the publishing company misses it.
Now, let me show where I'm going with this. Doug, hey Doug, why are you interested in this copyright music? Well, I just found the site that I actually recorded this from. So I'm going to bring it up on screen. The name of it was Jenny Pitch Corrected. The channel name is Chris Share. The video has 46,000 views. He put it up 4 years ago. But look at his number of subscribers. 66 subscribers. So how did this video get so much attention? Well, what YouTube is, it's a search engine. So anytime people search for the Jenny song, fairly popular song, right? This video from his channel will come up. Now let's go find out a little bit more about Chris Share. What makes him so special to get 46,000 views on one video? Now we come over here and find that in his videos tab, he has 8 videos, 66 subscribers. We go to the About tab. He joined YouTube or created this account 2011. There's nothing special about his channel or his production. He's claiming that this is pitch corrected, but there's nothing here that indicates he did the pitch correcting. Now, as trailers, what I have in mind is, I've been looking for ways to grow my channel. And I kind of feel a little bit, let's see, Brian had a comment about salespeople and politicians. I kind of feel a little bit of that persona as I'm contemplating coming up with a trailer that promotes what I do on this channel, what the intention of the channel is, and yet get it into the search results for Jenny or for whatever other music, popular music that I'm going for. Is that slimy politician, used car salesman type technique or not? Well, the people who would be searching for that have computers. Who is my target audience? People who have computers. So I'm thinking about it. If you have feedback about that, I'm open to it.
I like the trailer. I look forward to watching them.
Yeah. Well, I enjoy making them, but I want them to be productive for the channel to help get the channel more exposure and more people who are interested in what we do here. Brian, it looked like you were about to say something.
Well, I just wish there was a method within YouTube, call it a test channel, if you will, where you can put up, even if it's just a piece of music by itself, to say, okay, YouTube, tell me what damage is going to happen if I use this. If I put up a Metallica song, I know I'm going to get a copyright strike. If I put up something from Disney, I know that's going to get a copyright strike. But if you put up something from the 1950s or 1960s, it may be a copyright notice and there's going to be no harm, no foul type deal. How can you tell ahead of time with YouTube?
They used to have a catalog that you could search for that, and they shut that down. YouTube said that it wasn't being used enough, and the people who were using a lot were really upset about that being shut down. Now, YouTube's defense for it was they were going to come up with a better system, and they do have a system in place. The problem is, what that system is you upload a video to your channel, and their algorithms will search through the video looking for copyrighted content, and it will tell you what it found and what the consequences are. The catch is, I haven't seen any documentation or anybody's experience about what happens if you put up something that the license holder is going to issue a strike to your channel. So you don't, under the current system, as far as I know, you don't know that until it happens. And now if they issue the copyright strike, do you have any amount of time to take that video down voluntarily and the strike not stick. I haven't found any documentation to that effect. So one way of doing that is I have my personal channel, which has some of my early live Windows training videos on it before I even had that name, I think. And I also have, I'm a manager on my brother's YouTube channel. I don't want to do something that risks his channel. And it seems like I have another one. Well, I can show them right here. I'll show what I have right here. I'll just come over here to the profile icon on YouTube, switch account. Yeah, so Meandering Man is my brother's channel. This one, DougBetts, is my personal channel. If you're trying to get the, see the URL for it is DougBetts626. So if you did youtube.com/DougBetts626, that would take you right there. And you'll see some of my earlier attempts at doing this kind of content that I'm delivering now. And then this one, and then, oh, Betts Family. Oh, you know what? I could do it on that one because I'm not using that for anything. I created that channel when my dad passed away. I created that channel in order to do a memorial service for my dad that would only go to my family members. I could clean off the content there because nobody cares about that, and I could upload. I could try uploading like something from Taylor Swift. The other one I was trying to think. Oh, Gaga, Lady Gaga. That's the other one that I heard will take you down. I could try those on there and see what happens. I'm not going to do that.
Try something from Disney.
Yeah, yeah, that would be a way.
They're very strong.
Now, I assume it would just take down that sub channel and not my parent channel. My personal channel is the parent channel for all of my channels. So I'm assuming if I do the Betts Family channel that it would just take down that one. Okay, I think we've spent enough time on this. Let me come back to chat. Ken Stout, I sense confusion coming up. Matthew Kemp, hello. Sam Salazar, hello. I'm kind of scanning over things that I'm not going to read unless they're... Linda Goldstein owns the rights. Don't worry, be happy. Now, that's another thing I do want to say about this. Coming back to this, don't worry, be happy. This is ineligible, has a copyright, but YouTube did not put the license information into the description of the video. Oh, it's there now. Okay, it's there now. Writers licenses. So click on here. UMG on behalf of BMI Broadcasting, Latin author. I don't see that name. That artist, song, album, writers, licenses on behalf of EMI. So is that Linda Goldstein? Let's go see where this is claimed. Don't worry, be happy, much more. Don'tworrybehappy.com. Where does this say that Linda owns it? I'll try searching. So she might, yeah, under the direction of Linda Goldstein's, Bobby's manager, cultivated and granted license to advertising licensors. So that may not mean that she's managing the license. Let's see if we come back here to, is this it? No, that's not it. Not it. Here.
I'll have to go back to my copyright notifications and see if they added licensing information on it.
Yeah. Now, so this one, Bobby McFerrin, has the licensing added to it, Does it tell us that up here on this panel? This is the one. Yeah, see, it doesn't say license added. Down here it says license added. But this is the YouTube license, and it has, I'm wondering if this license added specifically regarding YouTube license, meaning this place down here where it says to add the license, and maybe that's just for tracks from the creator music. All right, I want to get caught up with chat. I know somebody else is in Zoom. I haven't even looked over to see who it is yet. Let me catch up. John Williams, Jonathan, Matthew Camp. I'd like to add, it's not anything crazy. Thankfully, just have, oh, that's the weather thing. Aren't pitch changes a way to get around the YouTube copyright algorithm? No, because you could sing a completely different tune, and if you're using the same words, that's going to still be a copyright issue, as I understand. Not an expert. They're in the right order. Say again?
If they're in the correct order, yes.
Yeah. You can use the words in a different order.
Birthday you, happy too. I guess you can do that, but mix them up. But my understanding from publishing company, I know it's your show, I apologize, is you can get a strike a year from now if somebody finds it and it missed out.
You can do what?
You can get a copyright strike a year from now if the algorithm missed it.
Oh, another thing about this is that even if you, at any time in the future, the copyright holder could issue a takedown. They may be allowing you to use it for a period of time, and anytime in the future, they are allowed to change their mind. And I actually found that documentation through YouTube itself on their pages. And I'm sure that's true anywhere, not just YouTube.
And it's not immediate, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, right.
Make it to tomorrow, you're good.
Yeah, so it is a risk. If I go down this road, it is a bit of a risk. And my rules, my self-imposed rules, is I'm only going to use songs that are on a variety of other channels and ones that are not with, like currently touring artists.
But some of those channels are paying that song straight to the artist, so they're not getting any of the money. And if it's on my channel, one of the songs that I'm talking about is on a channel with the band, and you might actually hear it with the fourth coming up. And if you go play it, but if you play it someplace else, we still get the money.
Certainly.
So who cares what channel plays the songs? We get the money. And now a quick thing with TikTok, I'm not all up on YouTube because I'm so far removed from it. I get it from a publishing company, and it isn't a lot. But TikTok is getting sued right now for a whole millions of dollars because they don't have, and YouTube, I think, has a policy in place where they've went to EMI, all the different ASCAP, all the different publishing companies, and we'll keep track of the songs and we'll pay you, you pay your people. That's where the licensing fees come in if it's a song that's agreed to. So let's say I'm making a song I don't know, Three Dog Night, Joy to the World. Maybe that's okay to be played as long as you license it through YouTube. YouTube will take the pennies, send it to the publishing company. The writer will get a penny, the musician will get a penny, blah, 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 down the road.
Yeah.
And if it's the Eagles who have not licensed it, they will want all the money. That's the difference.
All right. Okay, I'm going to go back and work on chat again. Lawn Dog, how come you guys can't hear me screaming answers to perplexing technical questions? Sam, I'm a member of my local Rotary Club starting a computer drive where we take computers, fix them, and donate them. Does anyone have suggestions on what I can do? I'm considering upgrading old computers to SSD. Yada, yada. What do you think? I'm part of a Rotary. What do we think? Good. Go for it. And then I don't think anyone's going to say, no, don't do that. No, John Williams, you need more Jennies in the background. We might wind up doing that. I wish I could explain what I know about the situation for copyright infringement. Goes along the lines, there are people out there earning money, flagging people, suppose, or is possible. Matthew, I believe you can play songs from live shows, as I've seen people who do reaction videos. I don't think they get a copyright strike. I think there's a few, yeah, not strikes, but they may get claims. And there's the fair use. I think a lot of the reaction shows, they're getting around it with fair use. And I think they may have ways to even avoid the copyright claim under the fair use policy, but that gets really legally entwined. Those reaction shows, I know what you're talking about there, and I'm not talking on that subject. That's I think a completely different animal. I'm not interested in going down that road. Let's see, more on that. I'm going to kind of skip through these more. Google, they simply CMP. One more thing, YouTube songs account. Any other suggestions for my computer drive? I don't know what to tell you. You just got to go do it, Sam. I'm perplexed at what you think we're going to be giving you for suggestions. Find computers and fix them, and then what are you doing? Giving them away to people in need? Remember, local Rotary Club. You are initiating it, not the club. You're starting a computer drive where we take old computers, fix them up. I would think that should be happening within your Rotary Club. You're asking your Rotary Club members to ask around for among their friends, neighbors, relatives, co-workers, if they have any old computers they don't need anymore. And they would be telling those people that we've got somebody who's going to fix them up and we're going to give them to people in need. That sounds like that's something completely to do within your Rotary Club membership. Brand of parts? No, parts are parts. You know enough to how to find and choose an SSD drive or memory. I'm sorry if I seem like I'm I don't know. You got to ask me a more specific question. I'll put it that way. All right, I'm back to Zoom. Caught up on chat. Okay, the parts that Carrie talks about. I'm not a builder, so, but the major name parts is what I would stick with. Okay, Tim Sowell. Hello, Tim Sowell. I haven't said hello to you yet.
Hey.
Hey. Hey is for horses.
Hey, it's hot.
What do you got going on? Oh, you asked for some. I need to move on to another topic, don't I? Yep. Let's move it on to another topic. Going back to find the list of topics. Here we go. So that was licensed stuff. Oh, Disassemble. A few people asked for this, and I'm intrigued to go do this. So let's go do this. I got to bring this camera around. With all the conversation we went through about the conflict in Big Beast build between the dim_2 and the, I'm just going to bring up the manual instead of me trying to recite all this stuff. There it is. Here's the manual. I'll page down and find that board layout. Not that one. I think the one I want is prior to that. Here, this one. So here's this dim_2 or dim.2_1 slot. It's the same type of slot as the RAM memory. These 4 slots and these 4 slots are holding my 256 gigabyte of RAM memory. This slot is empty. It is here for a different purpose. It is a dim.2_1 slot intended to put in this adapter and then mount M.2 storage media on them. Now, once you do that, this device, it looks to me like it has room for 2 M.2s. Down here is this M.2_ socket on the motherboard. This is the one that I believe is currently populated by my 8 terabyte M.2 storage. And then this one here is empty. Now, both of these are covered with some kind of heat sink, so I haven't taken it off and verified that configuration. But this M.2_2 socket is it that one that's in conflict with the PCI 4_1, which is why that capture device was not working in this slot, because this one was populated. Also, this PCI 4_1 also shares the same lanes as this dim.2 slot. I think I'm saying all this right. Somebody's going to correct me in chat if I'm saying it wrong, so I'll just let you do that. I'll get that correction. But really what I'm after now is looking at this adapter. Here's the adapter. Found it in the bottom of the motherboard box. It's got a couple screws here. On the other side, it's got 3 screws. And it plugs into this DIMM slot with the same edge connector that DIMM memory uses. Bring it over here to this, what I call a keyboard camera. Take it apart. I've looked in through the edges, and that's what makes me think that this will take 2 boards. Now, so that means that there's 2 M.2 slots on the motherboard, and then 2 in here. The implication to me is that this gives you the capability of having a single M.2 as your boot drive, and then 3 M.2s that you could use for a RAID 5 configuration. Because why would you want 4 M.2 storage? I suppose there could be some use case for that, but I think what they were after is to be able to provide a RAID 5 configuration without making that your boot drive. So there's a M.2 slot. And you can see all of these mounts along here so that you could do the different length. And then on this side, there's an M.2 socket. So that was it. Quick and easy. What do people in chat?
I want one.
You want one? Yeah. Sam, at this point, I will go with a cheap Western Digital SSD, 128 gigabytes, and Chrome OS. Well, okay, now you got a specific question here. I guess he's saying a 128 gigabyte SSD. Yes. My first thought, wait a minute, you're going to do 128 gigabyte RAM? No, that's really tiny. Boy, that seems, I don't know if you can even buy them that small anymore, can you? With a cheap Western Digital green SSD, I think going cheap is totally justifiable on those computers. Ran is asking 5 and 3, please, for topics. Let's see. 5 and 3. I just did that. And then 3. Oh, it'd be nice to get to that one. I've had that on the list for a long, long time. Was this adapter actually installed in Big Beast? No, it was not. Greg, personally for Windows, I would not go lower than 256 for the storage, especially with the cost. I would agree. And here's another reason. With a fresh install of Windows, it could be down around 60 gigabytes of space consumed. I mean, it 40 some odd up to 60, and then if you're adding software on top of that, it may go up. But SSDs need a lot of free space because they do this trim function, and when you get down to a small amount of space on an SSD, you really can get into troubles. So yeah, 256 gigabytes makes a whole lot more sense. And the price difference between those two, I can't imagine there's much of a price difference between them. In fact, I wouldn't be at all surprised if you're buying on sale, you might find 256 cheaper than 128, or even you might find 512 cheaper than either of these, watching out for sales. So if you're going to be doing a lot of these computers, I wouldn't stock up on parts until you have a lot of computers on hand, because if this is something you're starting, Sam, it might not work out. You might not, maybe your Rotary Club members will be asking friends and relatives and coworkers, maybe they commit to it, maybe they're all excited about it, but then the computers just don't show up. So you don't want to buy parts for working on these computers before you actually have the computers. So now we're getting into some specifics. When you just start out, do I have any recommendations? I guess, what? Now we're getting a little more specific. So this is good. Dennis, I made the public video that I published that had your message from me. It bears the title Week 4 Prison. Ah, okay. Yeah, Dennis and I had a little rough patch earlier this week, and he made published a video where he actually apologized. But in truth, I think I was the first one to be the offender. So, Dennis, I think I am as much or maybe more at fault at that, and I apologize to you, my friend. We're all good. We've played another day since then, so don't sweat it, anybody. It's the human condition. We play with each other every day, 7 days a week. We've been doing that. I don't know, how long has it been? Dennis, you might be able to come up with that number easier than I. Rand Israel, the DIM.2 shares lanes with the PCIe 16 slot. I thought it shared with the 4 slot. Well, I think there's a few sharings going on. So if you saw that in one place, that might not be the only place that is. If I search the word share, the PCI 3.0 by 4 slot shares bandwidth with the M.2_2. So that's that short PCIe slot. But then there's another one. There's another place. Oh, yeah. When PCI slots run at by 8 mode, the .2_ will be disabled. When PCI slots run in the by 4 mode, the DIM.2 will be disabled. And then this one says the 4 slot. So there's 3 different, subtly different things here. And this was all under the PCI by 4 slot. Oh, no, well, these are all, these are asterisks. So here's where that asterisk is up here. Here's the double asterisk. And then here's the 3 asterisks. So they're saying that if you're using, oh, these are with different CPUs. My CPU, I think we found, was a 44-lane CPU. So, you know, with my CPU, only this 2-star footnote applies. The 16 slots. Okay, so yeah, this is saying there are 3 PCIe 3.0 by 16 slots, and they support running in 16 by 4 modes or 16 by 8 by 4 modes. But be aware, that's why they have the double star there. The PCIe slots run at 16 by 4 mode, or when they run at 16 by 4 mode, the M.2_ will be disabled, which implies to me that they can run in the by 8 mode without disabling the DIM. Yeah, I don't know. How does a person, when a person is going to build a computer, they have to read the manual in this level of detail to figure out if there's going to be a problem? I suspect if you go on, what's that website where you can put in the list of parts that you're proposing to use and it will tell you if there are conflicts? I'd be interested if somebody could go test that to see, to try to put in the parts that would violate these configurations and see if it will warn you against that. Somebody's got to be telling me in chat what that website is. I don't do that work. Okay, I don't want to spend too much time on this subject about what the conflict is, because I got the device working. Let's move on. All the computers are old. All the computers I will donate are not Windows 11 compatible. Of course not. So that, hang on a moment. That brings up a little bit of a liability issue. If your board of directors for your Rotary Club gets the idea in their ear from somebody, could they be held liable if you guys give away these computers to somebody who's in need, and then after Windows 10 is no longer supported, one or more of those people suffer financial consequences because they're using a computer that is not secure, and it was given to them within, I mean, we got 2 years now, yeah, but you're just starting this program. Are you going to keep running this program up till the end of when Windows 10 is available, so that somebody could say, Rotary Club gave me this computer 3 months before Windows 10 was no longer secure, and the person winds up suffering financial consequences? Could the Rotary Club be held liable for that? Ew. Sorry to bring up that, but you came to here asking for advice. I'd be a little worried about that. Computer's old, yada. Rather Chrome. Now, see, there you go. Chrome or Linux. That would, you should probably seriously consider that to get around that liability. When you start to add these types of cards, you need to look at the documentation for the card to see if it's suitable and what its capabilities are. The second, now, all right, so Kerry Olsman built this computer, and the question might come up, why did he put that M.2, my 8 terabyte, into the slot that has the conflict with the others? Okay, look, no, I'm not going to hold him responsible for that. This was very much an experimental computer. I knew when I bought it that this is not one of Kerry Olsman's tried and true tested builds that he does for his clients. And he and I actually had that conversation. And so if he was aware of this part in this manual, I suspect he would have put the M.2 in the other slot. I don't care enough to go do it now. I've got the computer functional. Moving that right now isn't something I'm interested in spending time on. So I'm just heading that off at the pass to let you guys know I bought this computer from him with my eyes wide open, and discovering this now is not a reflection on why didn't Kerry point that out to me. No, not at all. Okay, the second thing you need to look at in the BIOS that you're going to install the card, see how many options that it provides. That card looks like an X16 slot. The card, what card? The capture card is not an X16. It's the by 4, the capture card. If you're referring to this card, that goes in a DIMM slot. That doesn't go in a PCIe slot. Not sure which one Londog was referring to there. I was looking for an even smaller SSD, Chrome smaller. Yeah, the 128 would be fine for Chrome. I think, and Linux. So all the people using these computers have internet service. When I was in computer school ages ago, we put out in the local paper some other publications for donations of computer to our school for us to work on. We got a pretty good response for the most part. We rarely had to purchase any parts. We could use parts from other machines. Yeah, there's something. And of course, they were all donated to worthy causes. Sam says my Rotary Club will be donating to club partners that have people who they help and already have a home. Okay, so that's how they would have internet. John Williams, I bought two 480 gigabyte Lexar SSDs for under $50 cash on Amazon. They work well. That would be interesting. How do you buy with cash from Amazon? If I go to the Amazon website, pull out my wallet, what is going on now with my Zoom? Oh, there. Pull out cash from my wallet. Do you put it into the CD drive? Cash? What does that mean? What does that even mean? Maybe he'll give me a clarification what he means. We got a pretty good response. I already read that. Darren Gilholm, hello there. Matthew Camp. What's he got here? Oh, the Lexar. Is he the one that just did cash? No, that was John. 256 gigabyte for $14.99. Yeah, 128 gigabyte. What are you going to do? Save 45 cents off of that, maybe? Now, wait a minute. Could that be bogus? Is that too cheap to be real? Lexar store.
I found a few stores. There's the Battery Exchange, 1.8 miles away on West Belmont.
All right, so I muted the mic and then unplugged her. Done with that. Am I back okay? You guys hearing me? Zoom, are you hearing me?
Yes.
I'm not hearing anybody. Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. Get back here. Moving forward. Oh yeah, Sam is on Australia. So Sam, you gotta go do your own shopping on that because we can't shop Australia for you. Smallest, cheapest SSD I can find for my computer. And this is not Amazon. $22. I think you need to just pick at that level. How much time are you going to spend trying to shave another $2 off of that? Just make a choice and buy it. Move along. Only one of the M.2 sockets on the DIMM will be disabled when the second PCI slot runs it. All right, I'm going to move on. I'm not going to try to. Yeah, Dennis, PC part picker. That's the website where you can see if there's going to be a conflict. I'm going to start skipping the things about the M.2 sockets on my motherboard because I just don't care about digging into that any deeper. One general rule for motherboard has 16 slots. Moving on. Shared resource. Moving on. I'm still going to watch that video where that guy goes into those PCI lanes and all that, but I don't deal with that in my work. So no, I don't. If you really want to brush up on this stuff, there's a good question. No, I don't. Choosing Chrome. Oh, Sam looks like he's already going to go with Chrome. Good. You know what? No, he did say Windows 10 back there earlier. My response would be, if you're not happy with your free computer, get it back to me. Yeah, that's not, if somebody suffers financial consequences, yeah, a court might hold you liable for the damages. Yeah, I would be concerned about that. And your Rotary Club, you're going to have attorneys in there probably. So I'd hate for you to pursue this and have these computers on hand and you're working on them. And then somebody on the board of directors says, hey guys, wait a minute. we might be held financially liable. So you might be smart to actually have this conversation with your board of directors at the Rotary Club, and tell them your reasonings for choosing Chrome, and so that they hear that you have thought through all of this, and they will have a higher level of confidence in you if you're bringing up that topic. If somebody else brings up a liability issue later, that's probably going to make you look bad for not having discussed that with them already, because they would think you should know it. Kerry Olsman probably chose that M.2 slot randomly, easier to get to the build. It seems to me, I remember him hearing, and I don't know if this has been the case in the past, that the M.2 slot physically closest to the CPU is the preferred slot. Now, maybe in this case, that doesn't seem to be the case on this motherboard, but I haven't researched that. I don't know that to be the case. But I seem to remember him when he was putting in M.2. I think I remember him saying, put it in the slot closest to the CPU. Maybe that's something that used to be the case or is not the case on all motherboards, or maybe still that is the case and he was right on this motherboard. But I'm not worried about it. And I got a functional computer. I never thought you could put such a device in a memory slot. Yeah, so putting the M.2 into memory slot canceled everything I've been saying. Wintermute, I think it means when all three X16 slots are used. Yeah, I'm not even going to think about that. You guys can be, maybe you're continuing talking about that between yourselves because you're interested enough. I'm not interested enough. Speedy C, I enjoy watching your Fortnite streams at 1500 UK time. I be there when I can because it's a nice little community to be part of, Doug. Thank you so much. That's a kind comment. When you showed the add-in card on camera, it looked to me like it had a little hook that you would see on a graphics card. Am I correct in what I saw, what that little hook is for? Oh, good catch. Good catch. In fact, I didn't even notice that. There's this extra little contact out here. Here's the part that would go into that DIMM memory slot, but then there's this piece out here. What is that contact for? That's curious. Now you hit my curiosity. Technical Doug wasn't interested in learning more about that stuff, but now you hit curiosity, Doug. He's a different bird. Where did I get to that? I'm trying to get back to that. Oh, it was like page 17, 18, something like that. I think. There. Yeah, I don't, there's no other socket out there. All right, let's do this.
I think it's missing pins is all.
Missing pins?
Intentionally, not needed.
Oh, well, I was wondering if it might be for some other future use, that a motherboard might be made with an extra piece there. I don't even, oh, I do. No, this isn't. All right, let's see what this tells me.
If you got a RAM stick, hold it up next to it and see if they're the same length overall. I think it might be just missing some pins.
If I have a RAM stick. All right, well, here you go. I'm going to take this off because it's got client's name. Okay. Here's a DIMM. Here's this board. I'm showing it to you intentionally one at a time in front of that picture. Okay, that one. And that one. Now, together. So
missing pins.
That slot is missing pins. Those pins on the end do fit into the socket because these boards are the same length. And that was not my first impression. Holding them up this way, I've got my finger on the two of them. I got to arrange them here so that you can see them. How about, Doug, why don't you turn it so the slot is lined up. That would be more informative. Yeah. So those contacts on the end are still going to go in the socket. And this is so weird to do. Notice the pins on the end of the adapter board are extra pins that a memory board does not have. Are you able to see that? There.
Maybe.
Oh, but the slots aren't lined up. Oh, wait a minute. That's not the right kind of memory, is it? Oh, man, my eyes, I can't even read that with my glasses. That's PC3. That's not, oh, yeah, and these, that's not the same kind of memory. That doesn't count.
You have dim.
No, it looks like I don't have it, the right thing on my desk. All right, so that's a bust. All right, I spent enough time on that. Let's see, there's my highlight. I'm looking at the orange to see if people give me answers on that.
And we're touching my drive.
Do you have installation instructions for this unit? Nothing other than for that adapter. You just put it in the socket.
Let's plug and play.
You just put it in the socket. I don't know what instructions I'd be looking for. Installation instructions. I use Fide Chrome. All right. Scanning through this, not reading everything. The Chrome, litigious country, US is litigious. What if Chrome is no longer supported for whatever reason? Well, you could say the same thing about Windows or Linux. On most consumer motherboards, that is indeed the case, but not with a chipset in Big Beast build. Can you give us the number on that board? We can do a little bit of poking around. Asus RAM Extreme Encore. I think the motherboard manual is the way you do that. I think that's what Wintermute gave you here. Let's see. Yeah, you should find all the information you need in there, because this comes with the motherboard. But all right, I'll tell you what, I'll put this back on camera. I'm not going to try to figure out what number you want, but you can open the video in another tab and pause it and get what you want. And I'm really not interested in spending much time on this. I'll try to get it closer, and I'll focus that. Give me a moment. Oh, it did autofocus, didn't it? Yeah, it's set for autofocus. I think you can read everything there. Now I'll turn it over.
Okay.
So for those of you who want to continue watching the live stream and you want to go pause the video for that, I'll show you how to do that. So here's a little bit of a teaching moment. Is come over here to where you're watching today's live stream, come up to your tab at the top, right click and choose duplicate. That's going to duplicate the show that you're currently watching. You can pause it and you've still got the show playing in your first tab. So you can still hear what's going on even though you're pausing the video on the other tab. Okay, moving on. To lock in, show memory, do you have installation instructions, Chrome? I'm a little puzzled. Never heard of a card that you can put in a memory slot which communicates entirely different than you would communicate to a storage device. Well, they all use lanes on the CPU, and they just have different interfaces for the physical components. I think there's a lot of things that motherboards could do differently from one board to another that you may never have heard before. Like around in this community, I haven't heard anybody dealing with motherboards that have two CPUs, two full CPUs on the motherboards. Those motherboards exist. I've got them in servers. And you could use that for non-server if you wanted to. Here's my NVMe controller card with PCIe connector. Yeah, there's, you just put that in a regular PCIe slot, and then there's, let's see, somewhere on, yeah, there's the socket in the middle of the screen. I can't point to it with my mouse in the blown up picture, but you can put an M.2 board there, and it's the motherboard will recognize that as storage. I haven't actually done that, but here's Dennis has that. It's running on his computer now. So you could do that on a computer that doesn't have an M.2 slots on the motherboard. Just put in a PCIe board, and you can then use M.2 on a motherboard that wasn't made for it. If the computer breaks down or is too old, we would take them in, try to fix them, and no luck issue on a new computer if we have available. All right, I'm all caught up there. Next topic, moving on. I really need to figure out how to know which tab to go click back on. So we've done the slot adapter, we've done the licensed music. Let's go to virtual memory, helping or hindering big beast build. Did somebody react to that choice? I heard something in Zoom. I'm not going to admit it. All right. Is virtual memory helping or hindering big beast? And I haven't studied up on this subject, and I'm bringing this up to the community to see if anybody knows this without having to do a whole lot of search on it. Let's see, that's not where I want to go. I'm going to take that off camera for a moment and get to the place that I want to start this conversation at. And yeah, okay, so here, right click on my computer and then settings gets me into this screen, and then advanced system settings, and then on the advanced tab, click on settings, and then on this advanced tab. So here we have virtual memory. A paging file is an area on the hard disk that Windows uses as if it were RAM. Total paging size for all drives, 16 gigabytes. So this virtual memory is 16 gigabytes in size. I have 256 gigabytes of RAM in this computer. If I click on the change button, it's currently set to automatically manage paging file sizes. But the thing that I noticed that brought up this question, the minimum paging file size for all drives, 16 megabytes, recommended 32 gigabytes, currently allocated 16 gigabytes. The purpose of virtual memory is that if you're running out of actual RAM memory, the operating system can offload some of the content that's in memory to the virtual memory. Well, if the memory is configured, if the virtual memory is configured, my impression is Windows is going to do that automatically. It's going to be offloading things that are in memory to virtual memory as I'm working it. That is an action. That is a potential time lag. But I have enough RAM memory. There's no need to do that with 256 gigabytes of RAM. It's currently allocated 16 gigabytes. So it's going to be taking a tiny portion of my potentially used RAM and storing that off to this virtual paging file. And I got the thought, what would happen if I just take off this check mark and say no paging file? I'm not going to do that right now while I'm live streaming, obviously. That's going to require a restart. But that would prevent the operating system from performing this operation of storing active memory content to the virtual memory. Am I blowing smoke here? Do you guys think there's any validity to contemplating that? Now, one of the things that I need to ask, or you need to ask, what is my pain point? What is sluggish about Big Beast build, and could that be a source of the trouble? I have had one blue screen since switching over to this new capture device. This blue screen occurred while I was doing some video editing with Adobe Premiere. And I have been doing some video editing for a while and sending content to Adobe Elements, or no, After Effects, to the companion program After Effects, and then bringing it back. So it was doing some things back and forth, and I got a blue screen when I did one of those clicks. And I'm wondering, as I was jumping back and forth from one program to another, was the computer offloading active content to virtual memory and bringing it back? And is that when this issue occurred? I have a photo of that blue screen. We'll go bring that up over here. Yeah, also if I go to Performance Monitor, I believe I can watch the activity of virtual memory as it's writing information to the swap file. Let's see, here it is, June 30, 5:05 p.m. Here's my blue screen yesterday afternoon. So you know that date and time was after I had the new capture device in place. Down here it says Video Memory Management Internal. So that's implying it was a video memory management. I was working with a video editing program at the time. And there's, well, this Windows.com stop code, that's just very generic. This code here, can't even think of the name right now, that always takes you to a very generic page, not useful. The only thing here of interest is this stop code, Video Memory Management Internal. I have not searched it. I just shut the computer down, restart, and move on. Okay, now I'll go see what you guys are saying in chat. That card is just M.2 NVMe to PCI adapter. I use one, they work great, often lack instructions, but do not need them. I don't know why you would need instructions. The M.2 is, am I right about this? The M.2 socket is just accessing PCIe lanes on the motherboard / CPU, which is the same thing that the PCIe sockets do. They're essentially going the same place. Yes, please, number 3. Is that what I, let's see, I think it's, oh, look at the title there, Doug. That one is right. Focus on there. Yeah, number 3. That's what we're working on now. I think I know what you're getting at. Limit to how much memory can be swapped and be efficient. 16 gig might be the limit. Well, no, it's not the limit. There was a maximum of 32, but the currently configured was 16. And I would suspect that's because the computer hasn't sensed a need to use more virtual memory, because I'm not running out of memory, right? Because I'm 256 gigabytes of memory. All right, so that brings up the subject. Well, Doug, how much memory are you using right now? Let's go to Task Manager and find out. Go to Performance and Memory in use, 20 gigabytes in use right now. I have XSplit in Zoom, live streaming. I have some YouTube tabs open. I have some other browser tabs open. I have all those little icons down in the bottom right corner. All of that is running. No, I'm not running out of RAM memory. As far as I know, page files required for memory dumps during blue screens, a small 1 gigabyte file should do. But I never go look at that. I have explored into going to look at that and trying to do something with it. It's very, very difficult. Nobody ever does it that I know of. So I don't care about that file being saved, the memory dump. You're correct about memory dumps. Just like in a microprocessor, L1, L2, L3 cache have their functions. They do have limitations when it comes to actually increasing performance. Other things come into the picture. John Williams, how do you know if there's a bad RAM module with all that memory? Well, I guess I could run, I haven't tried this, but I've got this memtest 86. I could boot the computer on this memtest 86.
That'll take 3 days to run.
Yeah, it takes a long time. I'm not having anything reported to me as well. I think it has been common that when I have a blue screen, it's while working with Adobe Premiere. So, yeah. If I remember the function of ReadyBoost, using like 32 gigabyte thumb drive, even USB 3.0 is recommendation limit, even though you can make the whole thumb drive use as RAM cache. Its video card is the driver for the video card current. Yeah, I think I get prompts about updates on that. When using M.2 PC, but yeah, I may need to go check up on that. When using now, but here's another thing is I've seen this with Adobe Premiere and with other video editing software that they say if you're having blue screen issues, try turning off hardware acceleration. What that means is tell your computer not to use your graphics cards to generate graphics, there I'm going with the words again. What's the word when you output a video that you've edited?
Render.
Such a Doug. Watch is going on the table because I keep banging it on the table. Yeah, they say turn off hardware acceleration. And I did have one instance where I noticed it made a massive amount of difference in how long it takes to render. Much longer if you tell it to not to use software acceleration instead of hardware acceleration. And I've had that advice come from multiple different video editing programs. Say, yeah, if you have that problem, just turn off hardware acceleration. Well, what's the correct fix? I've got an expensive video card in this computer. When using, and even, these are basic functions. Rendering a video, really? You mean the driver from 6 months ago is that bad? Even though that's a very mature product? I know there's a part of me that every time I hear somebody ask about our driver's update, anytime there's a problem, is this basic functionality absent in their older versions? Well, the argument on the other side, the other Doug, is going to say, well, maybe some other updates have caused a conflict with the older, even though it's only 6 months old, video card driver. When you get a high-end computer, you just got to do this extra management, I guess, maintenance.
Well, what I like to do when there's problems like that, Doug, is I know a lot of these hardware places have a community forum, and some of them are pretty good. You get on there and you post a message, and you'll get some answers back from some of these people that have fixed similar problems before.
Yeah.
They may be taken back when you describe your rig. They're going to say, "What?"
Yeah. I tell you what, I've got this aversion to Discord in particular, and others of the online forums, and the reason. A lot of times I've gone to a forum that I think could possibly help me, but then they got these rules. You can't ask a question until you've been around for a certain number of days. And I've also had them be quite rude to me. So if you're already an active person in one of those forums or Discord or whatever, you're kind of an insider. But I tell you what, I've had so many disappointing experiences with them. What I have found useful is when they show up in a Google search and I go read some other exchange, I have found answers that way. And that I'm perfectly happy to do. But I've found when you ask a question, it might be seconds or days before you get a response to it. And then the response is from somebody who you have no idea how knowledgeable they are. And they give some really stern, solid, confident answer that could be total BS that has no relevance whatsoever. So I haven't had good experiences with that route. Lawn Dog says maybe you should restart QEMM 386 to realign your memory. How many people know QEMM 386 well enough to laugh at that?
I tried forgetting it.
Yeah, for those who don't know, that was in the configsys file of computers from way back when. That is no longer a thing.
Actually, that was the version from QuarterDeck.
QuarterDeck, yeah.
386 was from Microsoft.
There you go, right. And I was knowing there was some kind of explanation about that was some third party. Offload processing, functionality gets complete. The drivers could have introduced an issue that was discovered and updated. Yeah, so he's saying what the other Doug described there is the reason for going to the drivers. And I just, you're right. I concede that's the right thing to do.
If you've updated neither.
Gary's got somebody with him there. So I'll go check on this link that Wintermute gives us. Wow, that's a lot of stuff. I don't know what he's referring to there. What is it you want me to look at there instead of me reading over all of that? That was in response. I don't know if that was in response to something I'm talking about or somebody else in the community. techguy.org. Oh, to go there to ask a question? Is that what you're saying? You got to tell me why you're giving me that. A place to get tech questions answered. Yeah. Yeah. And I think Carrie has referred people to that a lot too. How do you know the quality of the answer that you're getting? Like if I were to ask this question about, I have a computer with 256 gigabytes of RAM and virtual memory, Windows has got it set at 16 gigabytes, maximum 32 gigabytes. Should I disable that? You know what? I kind of think that might be a good place to ask that question, because there might be somebody with the expertise in that area to know the answer and not just give their techie opinion. Species Doug, perhaps you could check for but am I interested? Do I have enough pain to go do that? Spend time doing that? Perhaps you could check for an updates for editing software just in case a bug is. Yeah, Adobe Acrobat prompts for updates. So I know I'm current on that. I will typically decline the update several times, but within a week of them prompting for the update, I'll take it. I never take it on the first prompt, because I figure if there's a problem, they're going to discover it in the first few days and fix it. So that's what I do. Memory is supposed to be used. Are you running out of memory as it stands now? No, I'm not running out of memory ever. I've got this is an insane amount of memory in this computer. Now, I think somebody asked, maybe it was Carrie that asked, what's the highest that I've seen? And I think I put it into the chat room on one of Carrie's shows, that I've seen it up to 200 gigabytes in use. However, there's a backstory to that. That was when I was doing some Adobe Acrobat editing, pretty large content going back and forth, and that 200 gigabytes was moments before it blue screened. I don't think that is a normal. I don't think if I'm having a successful session with Adobe, did I say Acrobat? I meant Premiere, not Acrobat.
We knew.
Yeah. You got to understand. You got to translate. You all have to have a translator. When Doug uses a wrong word, you've got to know that intuitively, because it's going to keep happening. Yeah, I need to watch it as I'm doing something in Premiere and see what its normal behavior is. But I don't think it's ever getting above 64 gigabytes even. And then the other thing about the memory, it's 2400 megahertz. Maybe I'd be better off going 64 gigabytes of memory and faster memory. I don't know. You guys in the community know that stuff better than me. Of course, I would lose. I would lose the RGB on the memory. Good riddance. And the RGB on the memory is actually working right now. It's not always working.
Got present for you.
And I haven't put any effort into figuring out why the RGB sometimes doesn't work. But you can see the shape of the, oh man, this is so hard. I'm looking backwards at the computer, holding the camera behind me. Of course, it's not focusing.
Huh?
All right.
Okay.
Okay. William, I've got you muted. All right.
I'm afraid of what you might get when you ask questions on Tech Guy like that. What you're looking for, rather than a knowledgeable answer. That'd be great if you could, but I'm afraid you might get a lot of opinions.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly what I mean. I feel a whole lot more confidence in the conversation with you guys here on this channel and in the chat room, because I know you. I kind of have some awareness of each of your backgrounds, and when you say something that I can say, "Are you sure about that?" We can have a conversation and find out where does that come from when you're saying that. And I can't really say that in one of those online chats, because that would just be rude. Why do you say that? How do you know what you're talking? Whatever.
Yeah, well, I've never had more than 64 gigs of RAM, so you're up there in the stratosphere, and I'm down on planet Earth, so it's a different ball game. So I don't know what would happen in your cases. Yeah. I can give no opinions.
Well, you can. You just know that you're just giving them with a qualification. It's an uninformed opinion, you might even say on occasion. Is XMP enabled on that memory? I've done some different things with configurations there. I can't even tell you offhand at the top of my memory. But here I have some recent photos of through BIOS. So I'll bring these up and see if we happen to see that in here, because it has some a right-hand panel with summary information. I think I'm suspecting that it may currently be turned off as a troubleshooting step. Now I'm not even finding it. Okay, here, let's see if this tells us. Do we happen to see in here is CPU memory? I'm not seeing anything here that tells us about XMP. I have a vague awareness of the purpose of turning XMP on or off, but I know a lot of you know that a lot better than I do. It's just not. I'm not a gamer, even though I play Fortnite every day. I still don't consider myself a gamer. I've got a. Oh, okay. Here we go. I've got a rig. I've got a gaming rig. Now, okay, so Doug, why did you get this computer with 256 gigabytes of memory in it? Well, Doug, that's what it had in it. Carrie built this computer, and I just on a whim decided, you know what, I'm going to buy that. I happened to I had a little flood of memory coming in. I thought, well, that'd just be something kind of over the top to do. I had no need for that. There's got to be some people in the community saying, gee, he does really know that was an extravagant impulse. Impulse Doug took over. Bingo, bada boom, Jim. Yep. And it seriously was an impulse. It was not something, well, okay. It was not an idea that percolated over time. It was an impulse. I got the notion, hey, I could buy that. I had some money that came in. There was probably smarter things for me to do with that money. And I could do that. I like that idea. Then I let the idea sit for a while, for weeks, for several weeks, before I mentioned it to Carrie. And I had no second thoughts during that whole time. So there was plenty of time for calm, rational Doug to tuck me down from that. But it is kind of a thing on this channel that I've got the Big Beast build. It does give Carrie Holzman kind of a trigger or a reason to talk about my channel from a long time. And my channel grew massively from the attention from him. So I still don't regret it, but it's not the machine that myself or Carrie or any of the knowledgeable people in this community would have crafted for my purposes. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. There was no talking impulse Doug down from the ledge. That's true. That's true. 12:53. How are we doing on topics? You know what? I don't need to go back and see what numbers people ask, because I remember what they asked. Here's the one. Nobody asked for topic 1 and 2. And Paul F., I don't think has been around. Right? He's not here today, is he? I'm searching for Paul F. in chat. Nope. Licensed music, we did that. Task manager, relative process ID. I don't think anyone requested that, but I don't want to go into that now anyway. Yeah, so we've really done everything that people requested. All right. Last check in chat. We might finish a couple minutes early. So there's a. I know.
What?
Whatever topics. Oh, early. Are you reacting to the finish early comment?
Yes.
Early? Doug Betts early?
No talking down. I've been bust doing radio stuff, so I haven't been here for most of it. Speedy C, Doug, you use Big Beast really well. It's great PC. Now, and actually, the other thing I'll say, it is fun. It is a fun computer. I enjoy that I can get into it just with opening the door. I have SATA cable down there and power cable so I can plug in somebody's hard drive and access it. I enjoy that I have all the USB connections and video connections for 2 computers there. I enjoy that there's 2 computers in the same box. I do really enjoy the computer. There's not ever been a moment, ugh, that computer, why did I do that? Not at all. So that's the bottom line. I do enjoy the computer. I think we could have chosen different memory. Maybe we could have chosen a different processor, because it appears that what sluggishness that I have with Adobe Premiere, which there is sluggishness, I have waiting time. I have time when I'll set it off doing something, I go do something else. I only edit these premieres with multiple different pieces of content, and they can take 2, 3, 4 times the length of the actual video to render because of the complexity in them. And especially, and I've found that if I do send something out to After Effects to modify it, I'm better off to rendering it in After Effects so it's a separate standalone video instead of letting it work interactively with Adobe Premiere. That just seems to complicate it, and the machine struggles more with that. So I have to do some workarounds. So I'm thinking perhaps a faster processor. And a lot of the work when I'm doing the editing, I can monitor Task Manager and see that it's all CPU. It's not graphics processor involved until I render. But the actual interactive editing seems to be all happening with the CPU. So I'm thinking faster CPU. Maybe part of that is faster memory so that, I don't know, the speed of this memory, does that handicap this processor when I'm doing this video editing work? But the video editing is where my pain is, definitely. I have Fortnite set on all the highest settings except for frame rate. I keep that about, I think I have that at 60, but 30 is fine because my eyes can't see that fast. Geez, I don't understand these people wanting 200 frames per second. It's stupid silly. Jim, Adobe doesn't use GPU much, if at all. DaVinci will use the GPU. Well, Adobe does use the GPU when I'm rendering if I have hardware acceleration turned on. If I have it turned off, then it doesn't use it. Wintermute can use CPU Z to see if XMP memory tab tells current speed. SPD tab shows XMP speed. Okay, well, I'm sure I have CPU Z around here. And then we'll end. So we're not going to end early. Sorry, Brian.
Yeah, no. But isn't turning on XMP just a performance gain?
Well, I think it allows you to overclock, doesn't it? And allows you to, overclock the CPU. I can't recite all that.
And if your crashes they wouldn't be happening because of a lack of performance on the memory timings.
Do you know that to be the case?
No.
I don't. Okay, so you're saying you're suspecting that to be true, but don't really know it? Okay, so here's CPU Z. Oh, Republic of Gaming. Is that actually from the makers of this motherboard? Okay, so what did he? Let's get these tabs set up right, so I can see this together. To see if XMP memory tab tells current speed. So here's memory tab. Current speed 2400, and we see the memory speed actually changing. So where does this tell us? Where does this tell us if XMP is enabled?
SPD tab.
SPD.
Tab at the top.
Yeah,
There you
I
go.
did. I clicked on it. Yeah, you had a delay before you saw it. SPD EXT XMP 2.0. Does that mean it's active just because it's showing something there? So this is showing all the different slots. It's the same memory in all the slots. It's G skill. All right, well, the people in the know are seeing this, so Wintermute, it's overclocking the memory is what XMP does, not overclocking the CPU, all right? Greg Guy, yes, in run my G-Skill 32 CAS 14 RAM 33333, no problems. What's your point there? Because you're having no problems, are you saying that's why I'm having problems? I don't know the point of what you're making there. XMP overclocks the memory, so if it's disabled, then it's not causing the issues. Well, if XMP is disabled, then XMP is not causing the issues. But could the slower speed of the memory, because this is a slower speed memory, isn't it? Because here Greg's at 3200. Oh, I guess he's overclocked his memory. I guess that's the point there. But this memory has a base of 2400. Isn't that a low base number for memory? Can't you buy memory that's like 3200 base memory? SPD tab XMP is 3600. You are not in XMP. So you're saying if I did have XMP active, then I'd be seeing what, 3600 here for the frequency? So is that XMP always 3600? I don't know. I'm sure it would take far more to get educated on that than I care to do. You can run most RAMs over its rated speed. Okay, so this is saying, what you're telling me is my memory is not overclocked. So memory being overclocked is not the source of my trouble. All right. Frankie B, $9.99, just saying thank you for your work. I appreciate that, Frankie. Thank you so much for that. All right. Is there anything else we need to see here in CPU-Z before we wrap this up and put it to bed? What do you mean? XMP speed depends on the make and model of the memory. So XMP speed, meaning overclock speed, oh, the speed you're going to get depends upon the make and model of the memory. So it's not always 3600.
Right.
Okay. But yet it was Wintermute that said XMP is 3600. Depends upon the make. So I guess he's saying the XMP speed of this make and model memory is 3600. So if I have XMP on, it's going to go boom right to 3600. He says for you, it's 3600. For you, Doug, it's 3600. And Greg's agreeing with the same thing. Should I turn XMP on to see how the computer performs?
Can't hurt.
Is that really true? It's an extra thing to do. I don't know. I might. All right, let's put it to bed. In the chat room.
It might help in Fortnite.
You think it's going to help me aim better? If it's going to help me aim better, if it's going to help me react better, quicker. That's the problem I have in Fortnite. My reactions aren't quick enough. These kids we play with, their reactions are just crazy. But But that's the problem I have in Fortnite. So would turning XMP on improve my reaction time on the mouse? Randy Israel says I wouldn't bother. All right, in Zoom, not in chat, in Zoom. Could I ask you guys to say goodbye to the audience, please?
Goodbye, audience, please.
Goodbye.
Nobody else chiming in.
Chiming in.
All right. I think William's reaching for his unmute button.
Goodbye.
No, goodbye. All right. Ending the meeting for Zoom. Thank you. Thank you for coming in and hanging out. All right. They be gone. Last messages. Tony Wallow later. Not oh. I got corrected on that. I got schooled on that today. Jonathan, great stream, guys. See you next week. XMP will increase performance, but also may decrease stability and not likely help you game. Now, it might decrease stability. That doesn't necessarily mean the blue screen that I'm having would be increased by virtue of doing that. I don't know. Mike, winter mute, Ran. Yeah, goodbye. There's the email address if you want to send a question, particularly Monday through Friday. I like to respond to email questions and chat room questions and comments on videos. Saturday's a little more interactive. Happy 4th of July, everybody, for those of you in areas that celebrate 4th of July. And have a great weekend. Goodbye. Hasta la vista. Hasta la suega. How do you say that one? All right. Push the button, Doug. Just